Okay, and we are live. Welcome to episode 19 of Puckin Awesome. As I titled in the description, trades, signings, and drama. Oh my. I am Cassie. My Reddit name is Abstract Halo, as well as Twitter, Facebook, Tumblr. Just look it up on social media. Have fun. And these are my lovely co-hosts.
Shit, every time I say that I'm gonna figure out an order for this so we don't all talk over each other, and I forgot again. So I'll just go. I'm Ra _raid on Reddit, Ra_raid on Twitter. Except for one of them you put a U and a slash, and the other one you put an @ sign.
I'm Cora, I'm Lord Zod on Reddit.
Hi, I'm Aisha on Reddit, and I am Twerk for Twerk on Twitter, and I'm the Bruins fan, who's still crying over Boychuk.
Yeah, Terry unfortunately can't be with us tonight, but she's here in spirit.
Yes, she has a job, and her job is being mean to her right now, so she cannot be with us.
Every time that I say something makes me sad, just imagine her cackling maniacally, and that's basically it.
Okay, so this past week we had two captain announcements, unless I missed one somewhere. The Florida Panthers named Willie Mitchell as captain, and the Ottawa Senators named the ever lovely and gorgeous Erik Karlsson as captain.
Woo.
So I'm not biased on that one. So,
he is pretty lovely.
Yes, and these Sabres will probably be naming their captain tomorrow. The captain has been picked out, they just haven't publicly named who it is yet.
Who do you think it is?
Who do I think it is?
Yeah.
Based on Nolan's half-assed love affair and comments that were made today, I believe it will be Stafford.
You know, no one's ever accused Nolan of half-assing a love affair before.
No.
Hey, he swept up people's jokes. Anyways, and meanwhile, the Sharks are still trying to evaluate the same fucking team they had last year.
Yes. But, okay, the reason why I say Stafford is today he made a comment that says, "I'm not going to apologize if we are winning games." That sounds like captain material right there.
Oh,
I'm not going to speak on behalf of the team.
How much trouble are you in if that's what your team's captain is saying? Oh my god.
Our team cannot publicly say that we are tanking. Because we will get penalized for draft picks.
Oh, great.
I'm not going to apologize if we win games. I also don't apologize for winning games. In fact, I try often to do it.
What's winning games? 101.
That's my new life motto. I'm sorry. I'm having a moment here. That's my new Twitter bio.
Was anybody surprised by the Karlsson being named captain?
No.
I saw that and I said, water is wet.
Oh, and another captain was named. The New York Rangers named their captain as well.
Oh, yes, they did.
Yeah.
Oh, we knew that 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, but
that's also true. I wasn't surprised by the Karlsson news just because they didn't really have any other options. Because the Senators have traded away all of their players who could possibly be captain. I love Erik Karlsson as much as the next person. I'm not overly sure he's captain material.
Well, the only other guy, which I think he has a last year, was the guy with no teeth.
Chris Neal?
Yes.
No, last year's captain was Spezza.
No, he wasn't captain. I mean, alternate.
Oh.
So, I mean, A.
Yeah. But, Senators fans kind of hate him.
I honestly can't tell you what he does. The only thing I know is when I was watching the Ottawa Montreal game, he was in a really bizarre oil change commercial. So.
Yeah. Like I said, water is also wet. That's my thoughts on Karlsson getting captain.
It's not like he's gonna leave.
He's not gonna leave. He's marketing for that team.
And he's the face of the Senators.
Yeah.
I mean, I really honestly can't think. Well, Bobby Ryan. But he's new. Ish.
What other fan base can say that their captain is on Tumblr?
Hey, you don't know Jonathan Cave's life. You don't know Jonathan Cave's choices. As we found out this summer, Jonathan Caves grows his own fucking vegetable garden, so who knows what he does in his free time.
And
He
that's
could be one of the many Captain Serious tumblers that post pictures of themselves.
In case you guys didn't know, Jonathan Caves genuinely grows vegetables, like, in his apartment.
That's cool. That's actually kind of cool. But for the Carlson thing, I do think that his message he does promote on Tumblr of loving yourself and being true to yourself is actually very nice to see. So
It is.
he does have that. He's very positive.
But it's just still funny to think of all captains in the NHL, only one is on Tumblr that we know of.
Yes. The other captain, Florida, Willie Mitchell. Did anybody else forget he was actually on Florida?
No, I remembered. Because he had a tweet when he went to Florida about how he's so excited for, like, all the good food in Miami. And the royal half was like, yeah, Los Angeles is such shitty food. So.
Well, you can't get, I mean, there's Cuban food.
True. Willie Mitchell
Yeah, the Cuban food.
Spot in my heart. First of all, because Willie Mitchell was not that good against the Blackhawks. And second of all, because when Willie Mitchell came to Chicago for game 1 or 2 of the Western Conference Final last year, he tweeted about, like, trying restaurants in Chicago. And I thought that was so funny. He was like, here to play in the Western Conference Final. And he was like, yeah, but Chicago has great food. That's a man after my own heart. But I hate that he was named captain.
Yeah. It's weird.
I feel like I just don't know enough about Florida anyways to really...
Yeah. And apparently McDonough, that, again, that's another water is wet.
The great thing about McDonough is that it makes Habs fans really sad.
Yeah.
Shouldn't have traded for Scotty Gomez.
Okay. Do we want to go into some of the trades, or do we want to take a couple questions?
Let's do questions.
All right. The first question we had today was, any theories or hot takes on the reason behind today's fight at the Predators training camp?
I still have to read up on this. There was a fight?
Yeah, so during a scrimmage at the Predators training camp, it was Roman Josi and Smith got in a fight that was apparently, like, a real legitimate, like, gloves off, punches thrown, like, knockdown, drag out fight, which is great because Roman Josi has never fought in his life, which is clearly visible if you look at his face. And Smith had only fought in, like, the USHL. He hasn't fought in the NHL ever. So it was very surprising. They asked him about it afterwards, and both of them said, like, it was just, heated practice, like, practice, or so we'll see about that.
My money is on based off a girl.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that Victor Stahlberg is just a really bad influence.
Okay.
That or they were competing for Shea Weber's love.
Okay. Do we want to do another question?
Yeah.
Jeff Skinner's health aside, what do you think of the Niskanen hit? Dirty, suspendable, or is it Skinner's fault for turning into it?
Oh, it's definitely not fucking Skinner's fault. I thought it was dirty.
I thought it was reckless, but not. I don't think it was intentionally dirty. I just think it was reckless, and Niskanen should have better awareness of his arms and where they're going.
I have a very unique perspective that I'm probably going to get a lot of hate for, but I have a feeling Canes fans will agree with me. I'm really not surprised that he was hit at all. Not saying that, again, that he was hit. I more say, like, going to games and watching them, and most of the reason I've really watched them so much is because I get them over the air, and it's so much easier to watch them than online. And what bothers me is by watching a team that JR had created this culture of, like, not fighting back, and just so there's all these things, people will get injured, people will get hit, and nothing will happen. And to me, it's not that surprising, even though the hit aside, is not a result of the team not being tough. It's just kind of like these things. I just see that. To me, sometimes I get watching and it seems like the team gets just beat up all the time and nothing happens and nothing changes.
Yeah, you have a new GM. It might change soon.
Well, who knows? Have fun with that, Pittsburgh. But, they were saying, Peters was saying during, I got the thing on my Twitter feed a couple months ago, and he was like having a town hall or whatever he said, talking about the change of culture, because people were really concerned, saying how, that there was a culture of just being wimps, I guess, best term to use. And he said that's definitely going to change, and if you go to the Canes subreddit, they're not that happy because they don't think it's changed at all. Even though I was totally kind of disgusted with what Stahl did, but not surprised afterwards to Carlson.
Yeah. I mean, the reality is that I think reckless is probably the right word. I think Cassie, you're probably right. It's, Skinner's not that tall, and that puts you in an unfortunate position. We've seen a lot of guys who are a little bit smaller suffer from concussions. One of whom was Paul Correa, obviously. But it's a real shame. You got to feel bad for the Hurricanes too. We're gonna have a tough season as it was, and they've just had brutal injuries.
Yeah, players need to be more aware of their surroundings when delivering and receiving any sort of hit, shove, push, whatever. And Niskanen just wasn't aware of his surroundings and where he was pushing, and that's the downfall. And players should be suspended for that because it's on them to be aware of this type of stuff. I don't think it was intentional in any means. I just think he needs to maybe sit a game just to think this over. Like, maybe next time I'll be a little bit more cautious.
I'd give more than a game. I'm not about this bullshit suspending people for one game. I don't think that's a shit. You could suspend people for one game for, tucking their jersey in. I don't know. I'd suspend them for 3, right?
I was just saying, just suspend him. Just give him something so he can realize that you need to pay attention.
Yeah, I frankly think hits that are reckless should be 3 games, hits that are dirty should be 5, and hits that are really dirty should be 10. I'm done with 2-game suspensions. And I know that you guys can feel free to say, oh, sure, Blackhawks fans say that after Seabrook only got 2 games, et cetera, et cetera. But yeah, fuck it, suspend them for more. I'm so done with hits like that.
I am too, and the thing is, my team employs one of the worst offenders of that.
Well, he's not playing in the NHL anymore, is he?
He was going to make the team until he took a puck to the head in a game in the preseason.
I'm not going to say
I actually had in the thread in the game day thread for that particular game, somebody had mentioned that we believe that he should not make the team and he should be in Rochester. And I said, am I a bad fan that I don't want him on the team? Less than 2 minutes later, he takes a puck to the face.
Ouch.
I didn't mean for him to get injured, but I didn't want him on the. I wanted him to just not make the team. That being said, I agree with a harsher suspension. Something.
If you guys don't know, we're talking about Patrick Coletta.
Yes. For everyone who's unaware, we are talking about Patrick Coletta. He is a shit stain, and I do not want him on my team. As a human being, he's a great person. He has Legos and all of that great stuff. He does a lot of charity work. As a player, he's dirty and he needs to stop.
Yeah.
So as a human being, he's probably a great person. He does charity work. He can do his thing. But he's reckless, dangerous, and I don't want him on my team.
We should say while we're talking about suspensions and the preseason, this has been a remarkably suspension-free preseason compared to last fucking year.
Last year, there was a Toronto-Buffalo game that probably didn't help that case.
That was so amazing.
That was perfect.
Oh, that was the one where Phil Kessel lumberjack chopped John Scott.
And David Clarkson jumped off the bench, yes.
Yeah, never forget. Never forget. In 30 years, I'm going to be telling my sister's children, because let's be real, about the time.
And there was a goalie fight that game.
Oh yeah.
You know, Bernier is crazy.
Okay, do we want to go into some of the trades?
Yeah.
The other all questions are really thought-provoking, so we'll just get to them. We'll get to them, people. We'll get to them. Where's my trade list? There's my trade list. This is kind of a trade. The Wild have released Briz back into the Wild.
So much.
Chuck Fletcher was supposed to have met with his agent today. After that, I don't know what happened. This is what they said. Briz will go home to see his family. Fletcher says they will talk with his agent in a few weeks about options. Essentially, the Wild have probably told Briz and his agent to hang out until Backstrom gets injured.
Yeah.
I'm guessing that was the gist of the conversation.
Let's be real. Within 3 weeks of the season starting, Backstrom and Kemper are both going to be injured.
Yeah.
You're going to have, like, Jason the Barbara starting for you.
Probably Curry, actually.
He's going to be hurt, too. Jason the Barbara.
Yeah, so essentially, Briz was released back into the Wild with the understanding that he'll probably come back when people get injured. So, a couple weeks. Trade. Speaking of goalies, the Canadiens traded Budaj and Patrick Holland to Winnipeg for Eric Tangradi.
Yeah, and then Winnipeg fucking immediately waived Budaj. Which is like, so what? You just didn't fucking want Tangradi on your team anymore?
I think so.
They don't want goaltending on their team?
That's
my other one.
Just leave the net open.
Play bad for Athletic, they say.
People
Alright,
are really
don't
trying to
say
get it. People ever trying. What is it?
Save it for McDavid.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Oh, in Winnipeg's case, don't save it for McDavid.
No.
Use it for McDavid.
And in reply to your tweet about the worst goaltenders, Enroth in the preseason only let in one shot. And all the games he played combined.
I think Enroth is going to be good. I'm just saying you never know with goaltenders. Earlier, when they released Briz, I said that Minnesota's probably in the mix for worst goaltending. Their goaltending's probably going to look okay because their defense is pretty decent. But, who's worse than, no offense to Minnesota or to any of these individuals, but does Harding, Backstrom, and Kemper give you any confidence in your goaltending situation? One of them is always broken, one of them is by definition always broken, and the other one is concussed like 3/4 of the season.
That's why they have good defense.
This is where... Yes. My boyfriend is not happy. He doesn't care for Kemper because he thought Kemper was a little greedy with his contract. He does not like Backstrom. Every time we hear that Backstrom is in net, I fear for my TV. And Harding is, well, he kicked the fucking wall. At least in Buffalo, we got Enroth, who does have a silver medal from the Olympics and a gold medal from World Championships. So we do have somebody who has something. And Neuwirth, who decided to let in something like 12 shots in 2 games. But, yes, at least I feel confident about something. Yeah, Winnipeg's still probably the worst.
Yeah, you got to feel for Budaj, too. He thought he was getting away from Carey Price and going to get a fresh start in a team that has a hole in goaltending, and instead they were like, no, fuck you, Budaj.
Maybe you just wanted to go, you didn't want to fly as far, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just going to take the flight to St. John's instead.
Okay, another, I'll just do these 2 trades one in a row. First one, the Islanders acquired Boychuk from the Bruins for 2015 second rounder and a conditional 2015 third rounder if he gets moved before the deadline.
And that pick is actually from the Flyers, the 3rd pick. is from the Flyers, so that was good.
Okay.
So that's may and may not happen. So there we go.
And the Islanders also acquired Nick Leddy for Ville Polka, TJ Brennan, and Anders Nielsen.
No.
So can I just go to mini rant right now?
Okay, but I've got lots of things to say about Nick Leddy, so keep it mini.
We have Gregory Campbell and Adam McQuaid that we can just easily ship off, who are worth less than Boychuk and give more cap space back to us. But no, what do? We ship off our third man in our team, the one that helped us so much when Seidenberg was injured. No, we just ship him off, and guess what? We're fucked if we get another injury in our defense. Royally. I don't get what PC is doing at all. I'm still wondering what catnip he snorted or whatever, but whatever. Anyway.
You guys better not be injured. You guys better be good, because I don't want you guys getting a good draft pick.
Yeah.
Well, okay, this is our division. Would you really think we're not going to make the playoffs in with our division?
She has a point.
Yeah.
That bottom spot is locked in place.
I know.
We've got that.
We could be pretty much 0.5 and still make the playoffs in our division.
Okay. So Ari, your rant about the trades.
Oh, I don't even want to rant. I'm just so sad. I spent all fucking summer telling people why we weren't going to trade Nick Leddy. Because in my heart of hearts, I knew that you never get enough back when you trade Nick Leddy. And I know that because the Wild. We actually got good prospects back. At least Polka is supposed to be a really great prospect. He played with Teuvo Teravainen in Finland, and is a apparently very talented defenseman. But, you know, it's frustrating to get yourself into a cap situation you didn't need to be in. We didn't need to give Brian Bickle that much money. We really didn't need to give Corey Crawford that much money. And have to give up a really valuable piece of the team. You know, are the Blackhawks going to be, you know, substantially worse because we traded Nick Leddy? Probably not. Will the Blackhawks probably lose a few more games than we might have lost with Leddy? It's hard to quantify, but maybe. Am I personally going to miss Nick Leddy a fucking ton? Yes. And so that's just why this is really disappointing to me. He was a personal favorite.
Okay, time out. We have a breaking news.
Oh, yeah?
NBC Sports have added Bob McKenzie and Darren Dreger to its NHL coverage.
Oh, thank God. Some intelligent people.
Yeah, more white men. Woo.
It's still NBC.
But it's also. But I'm more of the two people that they grabbed. I don't care what colors. They're the most intelligible people possible for this right now. So, Bob McKenzie and Darren Dreger have been added to NBC Sports, which.
They've been drafted by them.
Yeah,
that is great. That is great.
Traded
because,
to them.
you know, what the hell was NBC thinking? They said, well, we need to get two classic American players to really help with our hockey coverage. I know. Let's get Roenick and Milbury, two intelligent people.
Totally level-headed people as well.
Yeah. They don't have fights on set. They don't, they don't get rude. They don't slap each other.
Totally understand the sport really well.
I don't know how to feel. NBC just made a smart move.
Yeah, I know.
They won this trade.
Well, they will both still retain their duties at TSN, but since TSN doesn't have hockey anymore because of Sportsnet,
anything to make coverage more intelligent.
Wait, I have a question. How is this going to affect their cap?
I don't know. Okay, we had other trades. Let me get into this here.
Oh, also, anyways, Islanders fans, heads up about Nick Leddy. Sometimes Nick Leddy will make dumb mistakes, and you'll be like, Nick Leddy, why would you do that? But don't get frustrated with him, because the reality is, if you watch his zone entries and zone exits, they're amazing. He's so good. So sometimes he'll be in front of the net, and he'll do something dumb, or at the point, and he'll do something dumb in the slot, and you're like, Nick Leddy, why would you do that? But just remember, he got it there himself, because his zone entries and zone exits are fucking crisp and beautiful.
And, as well, the one thing about Boychuk, don't look at his eyes. You will start to get into a coma. You fall in love with his eyes. You probably end up drowning in his eyes, so they're jet blue. So don't stare into his eyes for your safety.
Okay, so question. We've got a couple questions, and then we'll go into the other news. We're going to take a question that was sent to Asia, which was, what will happen first this season? The Maple Leafs fire Randy Carlyle or Sidney Crosby injury?
Mean. Don't be mean to Sidney Crosby.
But it's Sidney Crosby.
It's gonna be Crosby.
It's gonna be. Especially with the Leafs.
Fuck my management office.
Yeah, Maple Leaf Sports Entertainment hasn't completely pulled their head from their ass, so it's going to be the Crosby injury.
Shanahan has helped. But,
Shanahan has helped, but
this gives me a migraine just thinking about it.
I hope that it's a concussion joke, Crosby.
More of a he sprained his pinky injury, hopefully.
Yeah, oh God, please don't hurt your head again.
Yeah.
I hope that it's
Or paper.
neither, and we make it through the season without Crosby getting injured.
Again.
But again, yeah. I hope that Carlisle does get fired sometime around like December as just a Christmas present, Hanukkah present to the whole city of Toronto.
And my birthday present. You know what? That would be a great birthday present. That's what I need.
But think of all the joy that it brings to other people seeing him on the bench for you guys.
I just feel bad
Screw
for
other people's
Toronto.
joy.
I don't even get joy from it anymore.
I do. It's great. And
not in our division.
yeah, he doesn't understand. Silly something.
Okay, question. Concerning his health, should Skinner contemplate retirement with 4 cushions in 4 years?
This is a tough question.
I
Yeah.
don't put the season out.
I want to see how he. Can we see how he handles the next couple weeks after this concussion?
Hopefully he doesn't savvy it.
Yeah.
I'd rather him sit out a good long time because with Stahl gone, Jay Stahl, it's going to be bad anyways.
So you're just gonna try to do lose
And at this point, there's really, they're not making a playoff push, so.
So
Yeah.
lose it for McDavid.
So, just have him sit out for a long time, bring some people up from the Checkers, or was it Checkers? Yeah. Just,
Yeah.
I mean,
So
he's
yeah,
still be
yeah.
around it. Lindholm lives with him, apparently.
The reality is that I'm not a doctor, but Skinner should probably take the whole year off and then see. 4
Do the same
concussions
thing.
in 4 years is a lot of concussions. And he hasn't had exactly like the mild headache concussions. Skinner's been out for a long time for several of those.
Yeah. And you guys, I don't know if any of you guys saw the clip after the hit. How he was
that I posted.
he couldn't even stand and grab his stick.
Yeah.
That was like,
Yeah.
okay.
He's got so much talent, and he's so much fun to watch. And, I mean, I think a lot of people remember very fondly his Calder Trophy and his All-Star appearance. But I would rather that if he has to, he retires and lives the rest of his life than see him back on the ice this year or even next year.
I agree.
It's really tough, I feel, for you guys.
Well, no, I agree. Another
Ready.
question: what more can the league do to cut down on brain trauma at this point without ruining hockey, aside from banning fighting?
Redesign the helmets would be something they should consider because NFL's looking to redesigning the helmet for. I think,
The problem is, I say this as someone who's suffered a fair amount of concussions myself. Concussions can come from not just hitting your head. Any whiplash, at any point when your brain smashes into your skull, that's a concussion. And it's I mean, anything like that, so they're going to have to worry about how they brace themselves for checks, how to do that. And that's actually why in college hockey, women's hockey actually has a higher concussion rate because they're not trained properly for that whiplash effect as part of it. So helmets are a good start, but it's not going to solve the whole thing because that's not the whole cause of concussions.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. It makes sense, but it's a good step forward. Ish.
Yeah, it's a good step, and I think penalizing reckless plays like the Niskanen hit, penalizing plays even if there is no injury. If it is a reckless hit, and the guy still gets up, it shouldn't matter. Injury should not factor into a suspension. It should be a suspension if it's illegal.
For me, I think one of the things that's most important to me is not the prevention of concussions, because I think that who asked that question?
Paul did.
Oh, thanks, Paul. I think that what Paul sort of implying is right, is that it's really hard to reduce the rate of concussions. These guys play the game so fast, and they're so big, and there's so much force involved. What's important to me is that when someone gets up and said, I'm a little bit shook up, the first response is, get the fuck off the ice.
Yes.
You know, when Jonathan Taves is clearly kind of concussed, he shouldn't be sitting on the bench even if he's not playing in the game. He should be in a quiet room. You know, when Darcy Kemper is looking around like he doesn't know what's going on in the playoffs, it shouldn't take Ryan Suter to get him off the ice. When people are concussed or have quote-unquote concussion-like symptoms or even just fall in an awkward way, I want them to not play that game. I don't want them to play the next game. I want like a 5-day waiting period before you play again. I don't want us to be playing any kind of games. And I don't want it left up to the player to decide whether or not they can play. And I know that's controversial.
Or the coach.
Yeah. I want it to be left up to a certified doctor who is only accountable to like the NHL. Because the reality is that team doctors and coaches and general managers and players all have a stake in getting the player back in the game. But for the player's health, the best thing is to not be back in the game, then someone needs to be accountable for that.
Yes. The concussion protocol, it's exactly what it is. The concussion protocol is shit right now. It's better than some of the other leagues. We do need to give them. We need to give the NHL some credit that their concussion protocol has been a step above other leagues for a little bit.
FIFA.
A little bit, but it needs to be better, and we shouldn't be letting them back on the ice. We shouldn't. None of this. It should be automatic. Okay, this is a problem. Dark quiet room, sit.
Yeah, I think that what worries me a lot is not the first concussion, although of course that's bad, and you see guys get really injured from the first concussion. But when you start piling the concussions together, you know, like Jeff Skinner, like Sidney Crosby, guys like that, that's when I start to get really worried about what's going on in their head.
Yeah. So, okay, so that actually was a really good topic, good question. Let's do, we have signings this week. And miscellaneous news. I'm just going to let Ari get this out of her system now. The Blackhawks signed Daniel Carcillo.
Oh.
Get it out.
There is a problem in the Blackhawks organization. And that problem exists with Coach Quenneville. That problem probably exists with Stan Bowman. That problem exists on at least another level somewhere in the organization. But they think that we have to have someone who can punch faces. Except for, here's the thing, Dan Carcillo can't punch faces. He's bad at face punching. He is a fucking fourth-line plug at best. Press box pretzel at worst. At best. Actually, he's the best situation is that he's in the press box. He was abysmal on our team when we won the Stanley Cup with him. He was abysmal on the Rangers last year when they went to the Stanley Cup final. It's not happening because Dan Carcillo, Stan Bowman. It's happening in spite of Dan Carcillo. Okay? And they signed him because Brandon Mashinter is probably seriously injured, which I'm sorry, Brandon Mashinter. I hear you're a great guy. Brandon Mashinter is also a fucking face puncher, and so is Cody Bath. I don't want any of these motherfuckers on my team when I have a backlog of prospects in the AHL so big that guys like Kevin Hayes won't sign with us. Okay?
Something's rotten in the state of Illinois.
But the thing is, every time I complain about this, people are like, yeah, but you're still the Blackhawks. You know how we became the Blackhawks? Well, we were named the Blackhawks in like 1927. You know how we became the Blackhawks we are today? By not cutting corners on assholes like Dan Carcillo. Okay?
This is great. Everyone was waiting for this demise of the Blackhawks, and it's working.
It's gonna be good. We're probably gonna like fucking stick him in the press box in the middle of the season, and it's gonna be fine. And I have to believe we're still gonna do well in the playoffs. Why?
Oh, but good news for you guys.
And you're in the worst division to cut corners.
And, by the way, good news for the Blackhawks. They're only $2,000 under the cap now.
We're more than $2,000.
They're there, though.
I thought it was 2,000. I saw
No,
2,000.
we're like 187,000 the cap.
okay.
If we start bringing up people, we're not done yet, basically. Someone, we think probably Michael Roosevelt, is going to have to go on long-term injured reserve so that we have enough money to have Trevor Van Riemsdyk and Kaminsky and Taylor Teravainen be called up.
Okay. Sorry about that.
No, no
Okay.
worries. But something is still rotten in the state of Illinois.
It's just the
I miss Nick Leddy already.
Okay. This is a warning for Flyers fans. I'm sorry, but the Senators signed Bobby Ryan. Sorry about that. I'm grabbing the numbers right now. I don't have them off the top of my head.
It's something like 7x7.
I think it was 7.25. So yes.
Damn.
I was
think it's
really
worth that much, but let's just say we should be amazed that the owner is spending money.
Yeah, first of all, that's like a fair amount of money to spend on a player that's like maybe worth it. Remember, he can't spell intent. Second of all, like I was surprised that Bobby Ryan wanted to stay in Ottawa. With no offense to the city of Ottawa or the organization, Bobby Ryan always made all this noise about how he wanted to win. You know, Ottawa's had some trouble getting players to stay. To have this signed before we know whether Ottawa's going to contend, which they're not, you know, it was kind of a surprising deal, but good for them.
Woohoo! Blue Jackets signed Ryan Johansson.
Woo!
Wasn't that
3 years.
surprising since their first line is out?
Yeah, can we slow clap that out actually for the Blue Jackets?
Yeah, 3 years, $4 million per.
It only
but
took you all summer.
Salary. The salary in that last year is something like $6 million. The cap is $4 million per.
It's not a bad deal though. Frankly,
No,
it
it's
shouldn't
not.
have taken this long to get to.
It's a Christmas miracle.
Yeah.
I will say something that was really interesting about it is I watched the press conference afterwards with Kekalainen, the general manager of the Blue Jackets.
Mm-hmm.
Something's fishy about that deal. Kekalainen, you know, some reporter asked, was it your offer or was it Johansson's offer that was accepted? Kekalainen was like, I guess it was ours. He really seemed like not reluctant about it, or kind of reluctant about it. And Johansson, this is speculation on Twitter, this isn't all just from my head. Johansson said something about specifically thanking the ownership. So I wonder whether someone overrode Kekalainen's plan.
That might be what had happened.
So I would keep an eye on the Johansson situation. I don't think we're done with this player. I think we're going to hear his name. You know, he's either going to perform or underperform. Those are basically the only two options. And in 3 years, we're going to have a situation with a qualifying offer.
Yep. Drama then. Very, very, very good news. The Board of Governors have approved the sale of the Islanders. Ooh, they're going to be free of Wang in a couple of years.
Couple of years.
Couple of years.
By the way, Barclays
Another
Center is
one.
nice. It's not as bad as people said.
No. The CWHL has signed a deal with Sportsnet to air the playoffs and other special events.
This is awesome. I'm so excited.
I'm pretty excited too.
I'm pumped.
I'm excited to make more GIFs.
Yeah. CWHL tips. You
Bring
know,
me
last
karma.
year the CWHL had some streams online, and the quality was just abysmal. It was so bad. So I'm excited to have some high-quality women's hockey on TV, and hopefully this deal will bring in some revenue for the league.
Yep. And in speaking for more women, Hillary Knight practiced with the Ducks and also participated in the Girls Play Hockey Night that they did as an organization. and coach the Lady Ducks.
They have something going on the 12th, too, right?
Yes.
This was awesome. I was so pumped about it. It was really cool. First of all, just to like see a women's hockey player on the ice with men's hockey player. Like when I was a kid, I could never have even imagined. It was so cool to see. And it was also really cool to hear like the guys' comments afterwards. People were talking about it. Like Bruce Boudreau was like, "She's got a really good shot," and he was kind of like, he was very genuine about it. Seemed like almost a little surprised, and it was just really like, it was so great. It was really great, guys.
For those who didn't know, she is the first non-goalie to practice with NHL players. The other two players who have practiced are Shannon Sabatos, who did it last year, and Manon Rheaume, who played, actually, but non-skater.
Also, can I just put something straight about the record on Manon Rheaume? For some reason, it's gotten around that she had, like, bad games when she played. She didn't. She was, like, pretty average, especially for just being put in a game, like, cold, in a situation she was still adjusting to. Manon Rheaume definitely could have played more games at the level she was playing.
Oh yeah, and one of the goals I was watching a documentary on, and one of the goals, the player that scored it, and I believe it was Shanahan, said that it didn't matter who was in net, that one was going in. So, I mean, she didn't do bad. So.
No. She's like, there's a similar story in Major League Baseball. They had some woman whose name I can't recall pitch an exhibition game, and she pitched a no-hitter. And then all of a sudden it was illegal to have women play in Major League Baseball.
Yeah.
They played another game. It's the patriarchy, people.
Okay, so what were you saying about Hillary?
I was going to say that I didn't like how much of a fanfare was happening because, I don't know, I felt like it shouldn't have been a big deal because if you wanted to, make it seem that women athletes were equal to men athletes, it shouldn't have been a huge big deal that she was practicing with them.
But it's a big deal because it's a first.
Okay, this player is playing with them, okay. I don't know, that was just like, it felt like it should have been made a big deal.
But it matters. I would agree with you, like, if it had been negative attention, then it would have been, a negative thing. But it's exciting and it deserves promotion when something new happens that benefits equality.
Yeah, I mean, it was good, but, like, I just felt like there was so much fanfare over it. It just felt like it was unnecessary based off the fact that she should be treated like a normal athlete instead of making a big deal that she's a female.
Well, she was treated like a normal athlete at the practice. That's the part that I would be most concerned about, was how she's treated there. The fanfare around it, considering the event was to raise, some focus to women's hockey, I can accept the fanfare because we kind of need it.
Yeah, but I don't know. It just felt a little bit tacky with all the fanfare people were making over it. It was great she did it, but just the fanfare over it just felt really, really uncomfortable.
But
I thought it was really great. I thought that it was great that it was being celebrated.
Yeah, if it gets people to actually pay attention to women's hockey and give it some thought and maybe get some girls involved, you know what? I think then all the fanfare is worth it and all the publicity is worth it. Because that's the point of it, is to get girls involved in the sport and get others paying attention more than just every Olympics.
Are you listening, Men's Health Magazine?
Are we going to talk about that? Do we have to?
No, I think everyone knows. Should probably guess our feelings based off that article at this point.
Yeah, so if you're not aware of the story, I had to look it up like an hour ago. Men's Health Magazine published an article that basically was like, how do you explain sports to girls? Girls don't like statistics. Girls like storylines. You should tell them about how Dominic Moore's wife died and just play on her emotions, and then she'll watch sports with you, which is offensive on just so many unbelievable levels.
Wait, what's a Corsi, you guys?
Yeah, what's a Fenwick? How do I have PDL?
Oh my god. What's a KM?
Oh my god, what's a zone start?
What's a hit?
Okay, so funny thing is I've had to explain some of those advanced stats to my boyfriend.
I love how all the male sports bloggers were saying how they had to have women explain all these stats to them. And I'm like, yes, they get it. But yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
sure all 4 of us, 5 of us if Terry was here, have had that experience, though, where you tell a guy that you like sports and they go, oh, what sport do you like? Or I told this story to someone earlier. I was at an apartment party in college last year, 2 years ago, and someone introduced me to some guy. It's like, you guys both like hockey. And he was like, oh, really? You like hockey? Who's your favorite player? You know, what's your favorite team? Well, I like the Blackhawks. Of course you like the Blackhawks. Name 5 players in the Blackhawks. Motherfucker, I will name the 23-man roster from any fucking year you can give me. It's just...
But we shouldn't have to be prepared to do that.
Yeah, first of all, you shouldn't need to prove that you're a fan at all, because you would never ask that of a man. That expectation is unreasonable. But
I've
second
actually...
of all, even when it's not negative, it's constant. You know, I was talking to someone the other day also. He's like, yeah, I really love sports. He's like, oh, what sports do you like? Well, I like hockey, like da-da-da-da. And they're like, oh, you really like sports? Of course I really like sports. That's why I just fucking said it.
Okay.
And it's even...
As I was ranting on Twitter about, oh, what is sports? Oh, I just watch sports because I just like to look at butts of athletes and just using it to trick guys into sleeping me. And it was just like, it's so frustrating that every time I talk about sports with a guy, the first question is, oh, you just watch it for the players. Or, oh, do you really watch sports? And I'm like, yes, I'll probably watch more sports in a week than you do in a month. Why?
Well, okay.
Another thing is, if you've ever tried to watch a stream online of sports, who watches it for the players? You can't even see the fucking puck half the time.
Okay, so this one's worse. This is as I'm a Displaced fan, I have no shame in wearing my jerseys out and about. Sometimes I find other Displaced fans and it's a rarity and it's great. I was wearing my Thomas Vanek jersey around campus a couple years ago, and this was back when he was still with Buffalo, so made sense. I had the provost of the college walk up to me and give me a pop quiz on Thomas Vanek's career as a Golden Gopher.
Oh my god.
That was, like, he's like, do you know who's on your jersey? I was like, yes, that's why I bought it. Where did he play college? Minnesota. What were his numbers? And his freshman year, I'm like, I don't remember this stuff. Give me my phone. I don't retain all that information.
You're asking them that too. Be like, so where did he score his first goal?
It was all these questions, and it was like I shouldn't have to be questioned because I'm wearing a jersey.
Yeah.
On my knowledge of the player. I don't walk up to others and going, why are you wearing that jersey? Do you know these stats? No, I don't do that. That's rude.
This is partially another reason I can't wear sports jerseys or anything outside of when the team is playing because of these type of questions. It's so annoying. During the World Cup, I literally had guys explain to me what the offsides were, and they were completely wrong. And every time I corrected them, they were like, "Oh, you don't understand." Every time.
Yeah. So I don't like the fact that I have to quantify. Like, I was talking with some guys at a conference, so yeah, I like hockey. You know, we're chatting, he's like, can you name all the starting goalies in the league? I'm like, how fast?
That would be a fun competition, actually. How fast?
And he just kind of sat there and he blinked at me. He's like, how do you know this stuff? I'm like, well, I play fantasy, yes. I mean, I have to know this stuff. If not, I'm going to get my ass stomped in fantasy.
Another good one. This isn't my story. I wish it was. But someone asked a friend if she could name all the captains in the league, and she said no, because some teams don't have captains. Like, fuck you, asshole. Like, can you name all 30 captains? No. Montreal doesn't have a captain.
Blue Jackets don't have a captain.
Yeah, the Blue Jackets are never going to have a captain again, as far as I can tell.
I think what bothers me the most that I've noticed is that they go, after you explain something, they say, oh, you actually know it, the sport, and then they give you this, like, look of disgust, like, well, I can't, like, teach her or whatever, or criticize you, and so then they just, like, ignore you. At least that's what it's been to me.
Especially you mentioned that you're in fantasy hockey leagues or any fantasy sports league. Oh, you actually do that? You know what you're doing? Yes, I know what I'm doing. I have read my blogs. I have read my articles. I know what the fuck I'm doing. Word.
No, I didn't draft Varley for shits and giggles. I had a plan. It wasn't the best plan, but it's a plan. I don't exactly like the guy, but points are points.
But as I tweeted earlier today, it's a great time of year to be a female sports fan. We're totally respected and treated as equals.
Well,
I'm confused.
I
Is
do.
that sarcasm?
Yeah, that was sarcasm.
Okay,
Yes,
great,
well,
cool.
speaking of women's sports, well, this past weekend the college hockey women's started. They did not have exhibition games. They went right into the season, and the men's game was also on. My boyfriend and I had an option to listen to either the Lady Gophers or the men's, and we listened to the ladies. And I'm very happy and glad we did. And I'm sorry for anybody who follows me on Twitter who saw me retweeting everything that they were doing, but I kind of only half regret it. But yeah, so it was fun listening to them play and listening to the Gophers win 8-0 over Penn State. So there's lots of scoring. Kind of one-sided, but lots of scoring. Kind of one-sided, but
One-sided and lots of scoring. That's a lot of games you're going to watch this season, Kathy.
I'm well aware of this.
Yeah. All right, we got a little off topic there. Sorry,
Okay.
we should probably get back to.
Yes, we need to get on topic. But it was kind of on topic. I was just excited. Okay, we have no, we did touch the Men's Health magazine. Yeah, it's just herped or people are dumb.
Yeah, the takeaway from that also is that every single woman that watches sports that you know has a story like this. And so don't think it's just one guy on the internet. It's constant.
But the thing is, the article was written by a woman.
Oh, holy crap.
Yeah, well, internalized misogyny is wonderful.
Yeah.
Oh, you'd be surprised some of the stuff. Remember, there were some women that did vote no on equal pay for equal work. So just keep that stupidity in the back of your mind, and you'll have a great perspective on life. Yes, and that was sarcasm. Yeah, so we don't really have much more news minus the TS or the NHL on NBC thing.
Where there is that more TMZ article I posted.
Oh,
What was
what
that?
is that? Is that the?
That's the rinkside reporter that usually are female that the teams have. That's the one for the Hurricanes, and she got a DUI.
Huh.
Saturday.
Do all the teams have female ones?
Yeah.
I just noticed a lot of them.
Buffalo
tend to be
doesn't.
female.
We have
No.
a bald guy.
Jim
And Rob
McGuire?
Ray. No, no. Okay, so Duff wasn't. He wasn't bald, but he shaved his head, and it looks funny over the
Side
summer.
note,
So.
Jim McGuire said something this week about how Tyler Seguin had 16 pounds of muscle, and you could see it when he walked. And it was the creepiest thing I've ever heard in my whole life. I was like, first of all, what does that mean? Second of all, I'm really uncomfortable right now.
Oh, there was news. I'm gonna see if I can find the exact quote from the news. The Buffalo Sabres sent Grigorenko to Rochester this year after having a fantastic training camp. And Grigorenko made one of his quotes was, "I probably earned at least the start of the season here in Buffalo."
So Grigorenko had probably told the coaches that he was going to apologize when they won games, and you just couldn't have that.
Nor it's more like that we have to be on our roster and they want to give Reinhart his 9-game tryout. So the thought is that Reinhart will do his 9-game tryout, go to juniors, and then Grigorenko will come up.
Oh, I see.
But he did make that comment, and I'm kind of glad he's pissed off. Because the last time he was pissed off, he worked really hard. So work harder, little dude. Okay, so do you guys have news from your teams?
Looks like Cozen's staying, which I was pretty happy about.
Pretty much nothing really besides re-signing Krug and Riley Smith, which was great.
And Booth obviously was put on long-term injured reserve, so not surprising.
and we're apparently $3 million under the cap hit with Sovereign's money.
I've got a question for you guys. Besides winning the cup or winning the draft lottery, depending on your team, two of us on each side of that particular divide, what's like one thing you'd really like to see happen this year to your team?
Let's guess.
We could actually beat the Buffaloes and sweep them.
Is that also Maple Leafs one too?
No, I actually, I would like just a management clean house with some intelligent people put in there and not some, and remove the heads from their bottoms.
Wait, wouldn't that be equivalent of winning the cup for you guys then?
At this point, yes.
I just made my season predictions, which you guys can feel free to find on my Twitter and feel free to harass me about. But I've put Toronto in a playoff spot. And I've gotten a lot of flack for that already. So we're going to see.
Well, here's my thing. Bozak's playing. Sending McLaren and Ora down was a good start. I do like Kozin, and I think Kadri is going to improve upon his last season. And
Detroit did regress. I think everyone forgot that Detroit hasn't improved. They just did nothing this offseason.
Yeah, I mean, Buffalo sucks. Ottawa sucks. Florida sucks slightly less than they used to, but they still kind of suck. Detroit obviously sucks, but besides my fandom, Detroit kind of sucks. Especially if Datsuk is broken, which he might be, we're not sure.
Ari, I think we might be good friends.
I think all the Detroit fans are going to send us.
I want my team to do shitty, but I want them to actually look like they're trying and they're putting effort forward. So it's not a terrible, boring thing to watch.
The Calgary model.
Let us sweep you guys just once, please.
I also want to fill out Ted Nolan's cliche bingo within the first month of the season. I just tweeted it for those who But I definitely want to fill up that too.
I want Riley Smith shirtless, but that's just me.
I want for the cap to go up by a lot. But besides wanting the cap to go up by a lot, I'm going to say something, and you guys are going to make fun of me, and Terry's going to make a lot of fun of me. But I have to say it on the principle of honesty. Guys, Christmas Steegs looked really good in the preseason. It's really tough to say that, because I hate Christmas Steeg more than you can possibly rationally imagine, on the basis of the fact that every time Christmas Steeg does something, I get 15 messages saying, Ari, you know that Christmas Steeg did the thing. But Christmas Steeg looks like maybe he was actually genuinely injured last year, and so if I could hope for one thing besides the cap going up a lot, I hope that Christmas Steeg has a really tradable season.
Yeah. That's the crowning jewel of the night.
I'm going to record that sound clip, and then I'm just going to send it to you at random intervals, just to remind you that you said that.
This is pretty much the best moment in this podcast history, is her admitting this.
I'm not saying that I like him. I'm just saying that he was visibly better of a player than he was last year. He's still a bad player. But maybe if he keeps playing like this, we can trade him by Christmas.
No, he's staying with you guys.
Maybe they can give us Nick Leddy back.
That would be a good Hanukkah present for you, wouldn't it?
Yeah, on the first night of Hanukkah, we trade Christopher Steeg. On the second night of Hanukkah, I get Nick Leddy back. On the third night of Hanukkah, someone fires Jeff Carter over to the KHL. And then, frankly, that's enough. We can end Hanukkah at 3 nights. I talked recently about how much I hate Jeff Carter.
8?
Because I can talk about that for a while if you guys need some time to laugh. Yeah, it's 8 nights. But I really only need 3 presents.
Okay.
And one of those presents is firing Jeff Carter over to Russia.
Oh, God.
Okay.
You know what? Jeff Carter
I'm
can
just-
go play.
I'm
just gonna
double
keep
checking.
talking about Jeff Carter until you guys stop laughing.
I just think he's too attractive. I'd be sad if he was sent over to the KHL. I wouldn't get to see him as much.
I used to think he was attractive, and then he was Jeff Carter.
Even when he gets injured and hit in the face, he's still gorgeous. Ow.
No.
No.
Also, hasn't it been like a really long time since Jeff Carter last broke his foot? Can he break his foot again?
You're so mean.
I hate Jeff Carter.
I'm gonna write you for state fan fiction just because you were mean there.
Can I drop more photos?
Don't punish me for saying something nice about Chris Ritzig or I won't do it again. That's my threat to all of you. Anyway, do we have any more questions and/or news?
We do not have any more questions. We have just a few thoughts from people. Lockria says that Eichel is better than McDavid, probably because he plays college hockey and not in juniors.
That seems like a reasonable suspicion.
I have no opinion. I've never seen any of them play.
Yeah,
Lockria, I'm not saying you're biased. I'm just saying if we were on a boat and the boat was leaking, you would probably blame the NHL.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm going to just say with the fact that Eichel does play college hockey, with the college hockey rankings going into the season, his team got a nice little boost. So, yeah. Just because they have Eichel. That was nice of them.
I'm more disturbed at the fact that the kids that are going into the draft were born in 96 and 97. It's just my thing. I feel old now. It makes me feel old.
And Eliza has chimed in with the McDavid one is it's dishonor for Connor.
I like David McDavid just because it's so good for Winnipeg.
Yeah. Eliza, you're awesome.
Eliza is awesome.
But, double checking, just checking.
No, really cool if Jack Eichel went first over Connor McDavid, but it's not happening.
I want Buffalo to get both first and second overall so we could pick Eichel first and then McDavid.
No, the Islanders are going to the playoffs.
No!
Yeah. Nick Leddy deserves the playoffs.
Nope.
Yes.
I will personally come over there and fuck up Crosby if I have to. The Islanders can make the playoffs.
Yeah, I don't actually see the Devils going to the playoffs. So.
Who did I have?
Going.
For the Metro, I had Pittsburgh, Rangers, Columbus, and the Islanders as a wild card.
That's what I would say too.
Yeah, which means that Philly misses the playoffs, which would be interesting.
Which means that, our great minds think alike.
They do. High five.
Internet high five.
High five. So tell me if you think Philly's going to make the playoffs. Tell me if you think that I'm dumb for thinking Toronto's going to make the playoffs. Tell me why Jeff Carter is the worst. And I think that might be all we have for tonight.
Or why Montreal should just end in flames. That'd be great.
I guess we can talk about the fact that PK Subban apparently farts intentionally on ice.
Oh, gosh.
I don't really have a lot to say about that.
That's such a male thing to do.
It's hilarious.
I will say, I just found out yesterday that PK Subban is single, and hey, I wonder why.
Yeah, and Ovechkin had dinner with a 10-year-old.
Oh, and we might have a chance of having PK play against his brother, because PK, little brother who plays for the Bruins, Malcolm, got promoted to third goaltender for us.
Wow, isn't he really young for that?
Yeah, but we have no one ahead besides Severenberg and Rask. So in case anything happened to both of them, and we happen to play Montreal, he gets to play against his brother.
Huh. With Bouillon, Briere, and Giantagon, the Canadians' average height went from 5'10" to 6'1".
It's still giant.
That is...
The fact that jumped.
Yeah, that jumps like higher than Danny Briere is tall.
How much do skates add to your height? Do anybody know? Does it add like 3 inches or so?
Yeah, I think it's 3 inches, because it makes Chara over 7 foot.
Hold on, let me grab my skates.
I always think about that because it always, the ice when you get down to the ice at the rink side, the way it is, you're usually a couple inches above the ice, and I'm so short that all those guys look gigantic to me. Even Marty St. Louis, which should probably tell you how short I am, but.
So my skates are figure skates, and it looks like it's a little bit more than 3, probably closer to 4. So I don't know if hockey skates are lower or not. But I'm sure that's information someone could provide us with. Yeah, Marty St. Louis is short.
Yeah. And it looks like Nylander's going back to Sweden.
I have no problem with that. I have no problem with prospects developing and not going in immediately. I think for certain cases like Crosby, it's fine, but I'd rather see him develop. And he's small. I looked up; he's 165 pounds.
Yeah. That's what Patrick Kane was when he started.
He kind of when I was watching him, he kind of reminded me of Skinner with his size, because Skinner has added size. But he looks so small on the ice. He obviously has skill. I'd rather just see him develop, on the big ice and whatnot, not get better playing at the pro league over there, playing against his father, which I think is his first game against his father. I think it was great.
Crazy.
He sounded upset during his post-game thing. I was like, dude, don't be upset. That's why I was surprised and not surprised. Actually, I was totally not surprised that Draisaitl stayed with Edmonton. They're continuing that cycle.
They still have the same GM.
Apparently, Darnell Nurse is supposed to start the season with Edmonton, which should be interesting.
Reinhardt's going to do his 9-game tryout, but he was shitty in the preseason, so he's not going to stay past 9 games.
Yeah. I think we like Gagner. I'm not 100% sure.
My first-round draft pick isn't going to show up in the NHL for 4 more years, so I'm not even that invested in him.
David Pasternak is still deciding between the ECL and AHL right now, so that's where our draft pick is going. He's still undecided. Oh, and the Bruins signed their contract extension with Providence for 3 more years. So, yay, they're still going to be our AHL buddies.
Yep. Okay, so we are at an hour. Oh, more good news. Just one quick news. Martin Brodeur is training with the KMJHL team.
Oh my god.
He's gone.
We've gone full circle.
He's training with his son, Anthony.
Oh,
that's so cute. He should just give it up.
So basically, he's being a goaltending coach while he waits to be a goalie again.
Kind of.
Yeah.
You know what would be great? It'd be great, but also terrible. It'd be great if Martin Brodeur retires. That'd be great. And then goes to coach a QJM team like Patrick Waugh did. And then eventually comes back to coach New Jersey like Patrick Waugh did. And then we can have Patrick Waugh and Martin Brodeur Stanley Cup final battle for who was the better goalie.
And have fights in French over the partition.
Patrick Waugh and Martin Brodeur will get on the ice and fight each other during the Stanley Cup final.
Tabernacle!
At least.
Oh, that's actually something I would pay to see.
I have more wins. I scored more goals.
Okay.
I couldn't tell you because my rings were plugging my ears.
That's my dream.
Okay, now that we've
My dream is for Ilya Bryzgalov to sign with the Penguins and beat the Flyers in the playoffs. Those are my hockey dreams. It's such a great dream. The amazing thing would be, imagine if they played and then the Pens went on to win the cup with Ilya Bryzgalov. Just imagine the sheer concentrated rage out of Philadelphia.
That would be so cute. Like, the cuteness overload between Flurry and Briz would just be amazing.
Yeah, well, Flurry's fucked if he's not good this year. Because Flurry's contract is up.
Ooh.
Yeah. So keep an eye on that one.
Okay, so we are well over an hour. And since the season is starting up this week, how many days? Two?
2.
Hallelujah.
2.5 or 1.5? Let's just go that route. So the podcast, well, you can listen to it again or any others on ourhockeycast.com. Oh, I got this. The subreddit r/ourhockeycast. You can find them on Twitter, YouTube. It's all the same username. I'm not repeating it. I know that Toddler Tuesdays is back up and running. Wooden Ball never stopped. After Hour.
Overachievers.
Yeah. After Hour, I think, is hit or miss, but things are getting back together. Things are picking up. I believe Lockeria will be starting up her KHL updates sometime in the near future as well. So that's what I saw.
The NBA just started practices.
Oh yeah, basketball.
Yay.
Yay. College hockey just started this past weekend. So if you're into that,
All the sports.
and high school starts in November, so gotta wait a little bit longer. But so yes, that is all that news. You can catch us again hopefully next week. Obviously, we'll announce it before we're starting. I am Cassie. I am Abstract Halo on Twitter, Reddit, etc., etc., etc. I am a Sabres fan who really just doesn't like my team right now. So, and you guys are?
I'm Ari, Ari_raid on Reddit, Ari_raid on Twitter. Keep an eye on Watch This Space for further updates, and watch the Blackhawks to watch good hockey, and we'll see you all next week.
I am Aisha on Reddit, and I am Twerk for Twerk on Twitter, and spookiness. And I'm the Bruins fan. Boston Bruins. Sorry.
I'm Cora. I'm Lore-Zod on Reddit.
Yep. So that is us. Oh,
you
you're
can
going to
find
Jerry?
Terry at T-Rex20 on Reddit and Twitter. And we're so sorry about your night, Terry, but maybe you'll be cheered up by listening to this podcast.
Yes. So.
And her love for Mystique recently. I know that will cheer you up immensely.
Yes, we will create more for the subreddit. Don't forget.
I knew I was going to regret saying that, and I said it anyways.
We have a subreddit for Mystique called Synagogue of Mystique. Please visit it for the new updates.
Alright, and that has been fucking awesome. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Bye, guys.